decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the cabinet secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya, except the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for that happened to Kenya, that we are having a conversation on issues that are of the nature of our country. Today, Kenyans know there is something called finance bill. Today, Kenyans know that we have a debt problem. Today, Kenyans know that there is a...
Finally, I want to tell the people of Kenya that I don't feel safe. And for the first time, let me say that on 30th of August,
so ladies and gentlemen, as we are wrapping up 2024, here are some of the remarkable events that happened in 2024 that will never be distorted in Kenyan history. First in the list, we have the Government Adani Deal. Second, we have Reject Finance Bill Gen Z protest. Thirdly, the death of our one and only General Ogolla, who died as the first chief commander in office. Fourthly, the dissolution of all the cabinet secretaries with the president. And fifth and last, abduction of Kenyan online activists.
What?
Well, before we dive deeply into all these recaps, don't forget to like this video, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, first in the list, we have the Government Adani Deal. Well, President William Samoei Ruto, together with the cabinet secretaries for development, Kipchumba Murkomen for infrastructure, just decided to lease our JKIA airport to the Adani Group. Well, why am I saying that? They decided to lease it without any public consent. Well, all this information leaked online, and man, the people on X Space roasted and started rejecting it, making the government to succumb to pressure of Reject Adani Government Deal. Second thing that trended and captured the attention of the world is the Kenyan Gen Z protest against Finance Bill 2024. Well, in the month of June 2024, the Kenyan young youth, calling themselves the Gen Z or the Generation Z, hold a topmost state protest against Finance Bill 2024. Well, according to this Finance Bill, the terms could have been imposed a lot of taxes on Kenyans, despite normal mwananchi lamenting tough economic times. Well, indeed, Zakayo alishuka. After the pressure that was laid on the government together with the Gen Zs, the government just decided that they are going to reject the bill after several youths lost their life at a moment of silence as we mourn the death of the fallen soldiers. Third thing that trended and captured the world attention is the death of our one and only General Ogolla. Well, General Ogolla, who succumbed after his helicopter that he was boarding to Elgeyo Marakwet just crashed. And indeed, generals don't just die. Well, General Ogolla, who was a close ally to former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and his counterpart Raila Amolo Odinga, died as in a plane crash. Well, according to the sources, it revealed that the cause of death was not yet established, but the news that we got from the president is that the investigation was to be done, and the results, we are entering 2025 without receiving any credential or any information pertaining the death. Fourth in the list is that the abduction of several ex-users, activists, has been prone and has increased in 2024. Well, several ex-users who have been using the X to criticize all the inhumane activities that the government has been conducting on several Kenyans were being abducted, arrested, and after being arrested, men, they were coming from those chambers frightened and were not able to speak. Men.
Na yale yamesemekana mambo ya abduction tutakomesha.
ndio vijana wa Kenya waweze kuishi kwa amani na vile vile wawe na nidhamu na wawe wangwana, tuweze kujenga Kenya tukiwa pamoja. Tumekubaliana? Nataka niulize wazazi, kila mzazi tafadhali, hawa watoto ni baraka kwetu, tumepatiwa na Mwenyezi Mungu. Kila mzazi achunge watoto wake, tuweke kushughulikia watoto wetu.
The fifth thing that trended online was the President of the Republic of Kenya just decided to dissolve all its cabinet secretaries. Well, this was the second time ever in history after Mwai Kibaki did so in 2005. Well, according to the grievances, well, you remember on the second point that we said trended about the Gen Z protest, among the grievances for the Gen Zs was reject finance bill, and also the president was to distort or terminate all the cabinet secretaries. Well, the president did so by clearing and firing all the cabinet secretaries in the 254. Well, according to the president, he did this just to go as the grievances of the Gen Z, but the change was not that much in the list.
Given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya, except the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. And of course,
the fifth thing that trended on the 254 is the impeachment of our one and only Rigathi Gachagua. The former Deputy President of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, was impeached after being accused of being trouble and misuse of office. The truthful man, Rigathi Gachagua, was impeached with his boss, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Kasongo or William Samoei Ruto. Imagine a brother impeaching or terminating a contract with a friend. According to William Samoei Ruto, he decided to do so after Rigathi Gachagua turned against him and was against all the policies that the government was trying to drive home. Men, indeed, Rigiji atabaki kuitwa Rigiji.
The opportunity to contribute on the important question that has been brought by the Honorable Junet Mohamed. To my understanding, Mr. Speaker, Supreme Court is a court that is supposed to balance between philosophical, technical, and political interests of a country. And if you look at the historical foundations of the creation of Supreme Court right away from America, you realize that it is a court that is supposed to create stability in a country. And therefore, for that particular purpose and for that historical understanding, allow me to join the rest of the members of this House in congratulating our judges of the Supreme Court in so far as balancing the philosophical, technical, and political interest in determining the place of public participation in our governance system. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, and having had a cursory look at the decision of the Supreme Court, I realized that the Supreme Court did lay grounds, factors, and the test that is to be relied upon in terms of initiating public participation for legislative work and for decisions on policy matters, in terms of how those decisions are going to be processed through the legislative system, but also importantly, the test upon which courts of law are going to use to determine whether public participation indeed has been applied satisfactorily, both qualitatively and quantitatively. And therefore, the invitation to this House to enact swiftly a law on public participation is most welcome. As my chairman, the Honorable George Gitonga Morogara, has said, in the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, we had begun to look at ways of closing this gap because...
Tell the people of Kenya that I don't feel safe. And for the first time, let me say that on 30th of August in Kisumu, undercover security agents entered my room in Kisumu and bagged it, and one of them tried to poison my food. But we detected it, and we were able to escape the scheme. I was supposed to be killed through poisoning. On 3rd of September, in Nyeri, another team from the National Intelligence Service came to Nyeri and tried to poison food that was meant for me and Kikuyu Council of Elders. I did report this matter to the National Intelligence Service, and the officers who were assigned to my office, I asked them to leave because I felt I was not safe. After the 2 attempts to assassinate me through food poisoning failed, it is when this impeachment motion was hatched. When my security was withdrawn here, officers from the National Intelligence Service have been hovering in every room, in every compound here.
Well, let's go internationally. On international news, we heard Donald Trump winning and becoming the president of United States for the second time. Well, we know that in 2020, Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden in the election, but coming this year, things were not on the side of the Democrat after the guy just won and was re-elected, becoming again the president of United States of America. Well, another news that captured the attention of people globally was the arrest of our one and only Didi. Didi is this guy who a music producer who is known for always doing several big, huge music since 2002. Well, Didi was accused of sexual harassment, drug trafficking, and even sex trafficking. Man, imagine being sued with more than 300 people for sexual assault. Well, according to Didi's lawyer, according to the complainant, they say that Didi has been assaulting them sexually. And in fact, Didi trended and became a meme. As you all guys know that for you to win Grammy Awards, you must always visit Didi. And in fact, you know what Didi always done? The South Korean president was also impeached. Wait, and imagine in less than 1 month, South Korea had close to 3 presidents who had to control the entire country just in 1 month after before re-electing the current president. Well, the president who was accused of corruption, abuse of office, and all gross misconduct was impeached with the parliament. But what triggered and what increased the rate of his impeachment was the fact that this guy he just imposed a martial law in the country, leaving the country for the military for close to 24 hours. Well, all these people put to the street just to protest against this guy. After protesting, justice was delivered. All those one are recaps of what happened in 2024. At last, I was your host, Silas. Till next time, bye bye.